Hello and welcome to the British Book Guy. So I'm going to do a tag video, which is a video I've wanted to do for quite a while. I filmed this yesterday, realised that I didn't do an introduction, which is just like absolutely, how can I forget to do it? I start every video saying hello and welcome to the British Book Guy. How would I forget to do that? And I did. So I absolutely vetoed that video, all 12 minutes of it, just because I didn't include an introduction. No way was that video good enough. So we're going to do the behind the booktube or behind the YouTube tag, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how I film, which is a video I've wanted to do for a while because I quite like my setup. I think I've done a pretty good setup, and I mean, I'm a film student, so I'd hope so. And let's talk about that. Let's get into it. So, question 1, what camera do you use? That one! That's the one that I use! How good was that? I had to practice holding up the mirror to get the angle right. It was a really sad moment. I kept on doing it and pointing over there. Let's stop talking about the mirror. It's a Nikon D5100, which I got as a present about 3 or 4 years ago now, so it's a bit outdated. But at the time, it was one of the best cameras for the amateur market to film on. It has been replaced by probably quite a few models now, but at the time it was... And I think it's still a really good camera, actually. You know, as long as you've got the light, which I do, the quality is really, really good. Question 2. Do you use any additional equipment? I have a tripod, which is on my bed. I have a light, which I'm going to show you in a minute. The only thing I don't have, which I really want, is a microphone, because the microphone in my DSLR works, but it's not the best. And I always have to tweak around with the sound settings while I'm editing, which is... Editing is a ball ache anyway, but editing sound is just on a completely different level. Oh. I mean, I've been doing it for years, so I'm not bad at it. I can do it quite quickly, but that does not make it fun, and that does not make it easy, and that does not mean that I want to do it. Hate editing sound. I'll show you my light because I'm sure you can see I've got a light on. I'll just show you my rig quickly. So what I've done is I've got my reading lamp, and I've taped a piece of paper onto it to reflect the light on me, because if you've got a light just pointing at your face, it does this, and you just white out. You can see the paper here. I'm just too yellow now, aren't I? But I'm reflecting the light off a piece of paper and onto my head, so I'll show you. So what this is, I'm not going to stand too close because the camera will mess up. So, literally, a lamp, just a normal studying lamp, with a piece of paper tied on. So the light isn't shot towards me, it is bouncing off a piece of paper and into my face. Hey guys, so I just quickly wanted to show you the difference between having a light and not, so, let me just get the foot pedal. This is with the light. This is without. Without. And you can see the difference. I don't even need to tell you. I mean, it looks better with the light on. Yeah. And I mean, I'm literally using a lamp, and it could be any lamp at all, as long as you can get it at your head height or wherever you're filming, and a piece of paper and some sellotape. And that's my whole lighting rig. That's nothing that anybody can do. That's really easy to do. I mean, if you're looking to make a booktube, that's a really good idea, because whatever you're filming with, you'll need light to get the best out of your filming equipment. Question 3, scripted or spontaneous? Absolutely every time spontaneous. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about until I'm literally set up the camera, set up the lights, got dressed because I'm usually naked, and then at that moment I know, okay, I'm going to talk about this. The few times I have prepared, sometimes with the book tags or when I'm talking about specific books like the favourite books of 2015, I will have to get those books ready and have to know which ones I'm going to talk about, because otherwise it will take me 20 minutes of just staring at my bookshelf like, which book did I like 7th best from this year? So I'm not going to do that. I have written scripts before. I did a review for the Bone Clocks, and I think there was another scripted video, and I filmed them, and they were absolutely awful. I did 2 reviews for the Bone Clocks. I did one where it wasn't scripted, it was just me waffling, saying the same thing over and over, and I hated it. And then I did scripted, and it was stilted. It was not quite reading off, but it was like, and I really liked it for this reason. So I abandoned that, because that was even worse than the spontaneous one. I've tried scripted, and it doesn't work. Not for me, anyway. Always spontaneous, and that's more fun as well. It's more fun if I don't know what I'm going to say or what could mess up, because everything messes up, and it's just fun to laugh at me, isn't it? How many takes do you do when filming? A few. It's not so much I have to do a lot of takes where I mess up and I start, and it's not so much takes where I stop and then I start again and just start all over. It's more me staring into space like, did I mean to say that? Is that what I meant to... What? And then I'll kind of get lost and I'll be like, what was I talking about? Where was I? And then what point was I trying to make? And so it's not so much stopping and starting, it's very much just murmuring and groaning and trying to get my words out. So, coherent, but coherent madness. I don't know what question we're on, I've lost count. If you use music, spontaneity. If you use music in your videos, where'd you get it from? I don't use music. Should I be using music? I don't know. This isn't something I thought about until I filmed this for the first time. And again, the panic is coming on because I've forgotten about it. And oh, should I use music? I don't know. I could get music, but I don't want to. I never have. I never thought about it. Maybe I should be thinking about it. What do you guys think? Tell me. Do you think I should be using music? Do you think the videos are okay without? Or do you think they're crap and they need music to make them bearable? How do you make your thumbnails? This is something that I could do. I can make thumbnails. I don't because I don't have the time. And maybe if the channel grows a bit more, I'll start to try and look a bit more professional. Then I'll start making thumbnails. But now, if I make a thumbnail, that could take half an hour to an hour. I don't know. I never made one. That is time I could be writing, time I could be reading, time I could be editing. And I mean, I've got to edit this. I've got to film this. I've got to write. I'm not writing at the moment. I've got to edit my novella. I've got to make the cover for my novella. It's a whole thing, but I'm going to stop shaking the camera. Sorry, my foot's on the tripod. I'm shaking the camera. It's a whole thing that I'm not going to do until such a time as I think I need to start doing it. What do you use to edit your videos? I'm very fortunate to have a film background, so I actually use Final Cut Pro 7, which is very professional. It's Hollywood standard, and I really, really like it. I've been using Final Cut Pro 6 and 7 for like 5 or 6 years now, so I'm really familiar with it. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know all the hotkeys, so editing is a lot easier, it's a lot quicker. And I've used Final Cut Pro 10, and Final Cut Pro 10 is terrible. Final Cut Pro 10 is great if you've got nothing else and you need something cheap that does the job. It absolutely does the job and it's absolutely fine. And maybe if you've never used an editing program before, or you've used very simple ones, Final Cut Pro 10 is fantastic. But going from 7 to 10 is just a nightmare. It's absolutely horrible. I've used it once and I vowed to never use Final Cut Pro 10 again. If you've used iMovie, which comes packaged with a lot of Macs, iMovie is absolutely great, by the way, and Final Cut Pro 10 and iMovie are very similar and they're both fantastic. Unless you can use something better, which you do. Adobe Premiere is better. I've never used Sony Vegas. I don't know how good that is. But I know Sony Vegas is cheaper than Final Cut Pro 10 and it does the job. So Vegas Pro is probably a good shout. iMovie is free, I think. I think it comes with most Macs. I don't know. I didn't get it with my Mac, actually. So I don't know. And my disdain isn't that you shouldn't use Final Cut Pro 10 because you should. But I personally, as an editor, hate the ever-living shit out of Final Cut Pro 10. Okay. Any tips, tricks or hacks? Yes, absolutely, because I'm a film student and I can't even know what I'm talking about, and I'd like to think I know what I'm talking about anyway. Whatever camera you're using, if it's a DSLR or if it's your iPhone, if you want to get the best quality out of it that you can, throw as many lights onto you as possible. Because a lot of these cameras work really badly in low light settings, but really work quite well in a lot of light. So I've got my main light on, my window's opposite me and I've got a lot of natural daylight and I've got my study light as well, which I just showed you. So if you can get your lamps on you, I've moved this. Every time I film I have to move it so it's in the proper position, just to get as much light on me as possible. And if you want professionalism, that's absolutely amazing. I did want to do a whole video on editing tips and techniques because there are a lot of things that I don't want to go into here that I could go into. That would probably take a whole video just to go over editing, so if anybody wants a video on my editing techniques, let me know and I'll do that. I know some of my editing's a bit off. My editing is fine, my editing has to work around my very, very, very bad presentation. I do a lot of and ahhing and I talk too fast, and sometimes when I try and cut the right words out and put them together, the editing seems a bit bad, but it's not. The editing is actually done very specifically, but it looks bad because my presenting is terrible. Yeah, I can go through a few editing techniques if you want, and I'd like to do that, but I don't know if there's a need for it. I'm not a very big channel, so yeah, I'll leave that up to you guys. I mean, the last question is, from your point of view, what makes a good video from a production standpoint, and it is light. You don't have to edit. I've seen a lot of booktubers or YouTubers who don't edit and they just have 1 6-minute take, and that's fine, that works for them. But if there's no lights, you can really tell. And your first impression is always going to be the quality of the video. And the quality is only going to come out with lights. I think that's actually really it, guys. You know, editing is going to come, but nobody's going to piss on you for bad editing. No one's going to moan at you. Really, if the camera quality is too bad, especially if you're only just starting out. But you can help yourself as much as possible. I hope that's it, you know what? That was a lot of waffling. I hope that all made sense. Stop kicking the tripod because it shakes. Sorry. I'm just resting my foot there, which is quite natural for me. So, I'll call it there, guys. Oh man, that's a long video. That video went longer than the other one. I don't want this to happen. Leave a like if you like. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment downstairs. And I will see you next video, guys. Thanks for watching.